Welcome to the new book releases for the week of January 15th. I'm Morgan. If you haven't been here before, we will have timestamps per genre for you to click to whichever is your favorite. And let's go ahead and get started on this week's list. We will start the week out with Sci-Fi. This one is a genetic engineering brand of sci-fi book called The Tusks of Extinction by Ray Naylor. When you bring back a long extinct species, there is more to success than the DNA. Moscow has resurrected the mammoth, but someone must teach them how to be mammoths, or they are doomed to die out again. Dr. Daimira Krismantalia, an expert in elephant behavior, was brutally murdered trying to defend the world's last elephants from the brutal ivory trade. Now, her digitized consciousness has been downloaded into the mind of a mammoth. As the herd's new matriarch, can Daimira help fend off poachers long enough for the species to take hold? Or will her own ghosts and Moscow's real reason for bringing the mammoth back doom them to a new extinction? Go ahead and put the disclaimer, should have been earlier, that I'm going to mispronounce people's names. We move, though, on into fantasy with, I think, a highly anticipated sequel book called Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherland by Heather Fawcett. When mysterious fairies from other realms appear at her university, curmudgeonly Professor Emily Wilde must uncover their secrets before it's too late. In this heartwarming, enchanting second installment of the Emily Wilde series, a neurodivergent heroine in a light academia romance, what's not to like? Book 2 of the 3-book series sees Emily facing new challenges both inward and outward. Then we move into YA fantasy with one that I think is going to be awesome. It sounds really cool. So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole is the first in the Divine Traders. Baron Vincent can channel the power of the gods. 5 years ago, she used her divine magic to liberate her island from its enemies, the dragon-riding Langley Empire. But now, at 17, Baron is all powered up with no wars to fight. She's a legend to her people and a nuisance to her neighbors. When she's forced to attend an international peace summit, Farron expects that she will perform tricks like a trained pet and then go home. She doesn't expect her older sister Alara forming an unprecedented bond with an enemy dragon, or the gods claiming the only way to break that bond is to kill her sister. As Farron's desperation to find another solution takes her down a dark path, and Alara discovers the shocking secrets at the heart of the Langley Empire, both must make difficult choices that will shape each other's lives, as well as the fate of their world. Next up, we have A Drop of Venom by Sanji Patel. All monsters and heroes have beginnings. This is mine. 16-year-old Manisha is no stranger to monsters. She's been running from them for years, from beasts who roamed the jungle to the king's army who forced her people, the Naga, to scatter to the ends of the earth. You might think that the kingdom's famed holy temples atop the floating mountains where Manisha is now a priestess would be safe, but you would be wrong. 17-year-old Pratyush is a famed slayer of monsters, one of the king's most prized warriors, and a frequent visitor of the floating temples. For every monster the slayer kills, years are added to his life. You might think that such a powerful warrior could do whatever he wants, but true power lies with the king. Tired after years of fighting, Pratyush wants nothing more than a peaceful, respectable life. When he and Manisha meet, each sees the other as a possibility to chart a new path. Unfortunately, the kingdom's powerful have other plans. A temple visitor assaults Manisha and pushes her off the mountain into a pit of vipers. A month later, the king sends Pratyush off to kill one last monster, a powerful noggin who has been turning men to stone, before he'll consider granting the slayer his freedom. So this is a Medusa telling, so where I said that she was assaulted, it's in that vein. Next up, we have a light urban fantasy called Evergreen by Devin Greenlee. All 17-year-old Quill wants is a break from the family business. Flowers, plants, the generations-old garden. What he wouldn't give for a taste of the outside world. Normalcy. But his mom won't let him out of the house, telling him he's just not ready. All because he's a dryad. Well, not just any dryad, but a male dryad, the first ever. And unlike everyone else in his family, he hasn't a lick of magic. Just a shock of green hair, matching green eyes, and a growing frustration that there's an entire world out there waiting to be discovered. Until the night when the outside world, specifically his new neighbor, discovers him. Liam Watson lives in a culture filled with electronics, mobile devices, and social media, where there is no magic or even the belief in it. And as much as Quill finds Liam irritating, he's so cute it's annoying, he can't help himself. Now Quill's getting a taste of the outside world and of Liam, and he wants more. But not all is well in this magical urban garden, and someone or something is changing the very essence of it. And wherever Quill goes, the danger grows. Then we move into romance with The Worst Best Man by Lucy Score. Now, this one has been available on Kindle and other ebook forms, possibly for a few years, but the print date I don't think has come out before now. The bride is a doll, the groom is the perfect gentleman, but the rest of the wedding party, they're the stuff of nightmares. Rich, check. Vapid, double check. Entitled, Not Enough Checks in the World, and the best man, more like the worst man. But maid of honor Francesca Baraneschi takes her duty seriously. Kidnapped groom, she's got this. Rude attendees, you just watch her handle them. So the best man with a big attitude and an even bigger checkbook? Yeah, there's no way she's going to let that pretentious, judgmental jackhole ruin her best friend's wedding, no matter how sexy he is. Well, that's the plan anyway. Aidan Kilburn doesn't do long-term relationships. He's busy ruling the business world and has yet to find a woman he can tolerate for longer than a month, 2 at the outside. Conquering the unconquerable is basically his bread and butter, and he hasn't met a challenge that he can't win. But Francesca Baraneschi, the smart-mouthed girl from Brooklyn, may just be his downfall. The next in the Dark Olympus series, Midnight Ruin by Katie Robert, is coming out this week. This is an Orpheus and Eurydice. It says they're back in their timeless and tragic romance, but this time in a spicy modern retelling that will land with fans of Lore Olympus. This may be the 6th in the series, but it can also be read as a standalone. Moving into thrillers, we start with The Night of the Storm by Nishida Paraki. Oh my god, I'm butchering her name. I'm so sorry. Hurricane Harvey is about to hit Houston. Meanwhile, single mom Ji Shah is already having a rough week. Her 12-year-old son, Ishan, has just been suspended from school for getting in a fight. Still reeling from the fallout of her divorce, their move to Houston, her family's disapproval, the struggle to make ends meet on her own, now Gia is worried about Ishan's future too. Will her solo parenting be enough? Doesn't a boy need a father? And now their apartment complex is under a mandatory evacuation order. Gia's sister, Seema, has invited them to hunker down in her fancy house in Sugarland, and despite Gia's misgivings, Seema's husband, Vipul, has been just a little too friendly with her lately. Gia concedes it's probably the best place to keep Ishan safe during the hurricane, with Gia's philandering ex scrutinizing her every move, all too eager to snatch back custody of Ishan. She can't afford to make a mistake. When Vipul's brother and his wife show up on Seema's doorstep too, it's a recipe for disaster. Grandma, the family matriarch, has never been shy about playing favorites among her sons and their wives. As the storm escalates, tensions quickly rise, and soon someone's dead. Was it a horrible accident, or is there a murderer in their midst? With no help available until the floodwaters recede in the morning, Gia must protect her son and identify the culprit before she goes down for a crime she didn't commit, or becomes the next victim. Our next one is Where You End by Abbott Collar. When Kate Bird wakes up from a coma, she sees her mirror image, Jude, her twin sister. Jude's face and name are the only memories Kat has from her accident. As Kat tries to make sense of things, she believes Jude will provide the answers to her most pressing questions. Who am I? Where am I? What actually happened? Amid this tragedy, Jude sees an irresistible opportunity. She can give her sister a brand new past, one worlds away from the lives they actually lived. She spins tales of idyllic childhood, exotic travels, and a bright future. But if everything is so perfect, who are the mysterious people following Kat? And what explains her uncontrollable flashes of violent anger, which begin to jeopardize a sweet new romance? Duped by the one person she trusted, Kat must try to untangle a fact from fiction, yet as she pulls at the threads of Jude's elaborate tapestry, she has no idea of the catastrophe she's inviting. At stake is not just the twins' relationship, but their very survival. Then we have The Fury by Alex Michaelides. This is a tale of murder. Or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lana Farr is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know this story. You probably read about it at the time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation: a celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. We found ourselves trapped there overnight, our old friendships concealed hatred and a desire for revenge. What followed was a game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, full of twists and turns, building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in violence and death as one of us was found murdered. But who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I'm going to tell you this story unlike any you've ever heard. That wraps up this week's list. If there was any books that you think others would like to know about coming out this week and I didn't mention, let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing and coming back every week for these new releases videos. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you're having an awesome day, finding something great to read, and I'll see y'all next time.